And action.
My name is Gary Gray, and this is my masterclass. Just kidding. In this new revolutionary course called the Lucrative Home Studio, you will learn a number of important lessons, including 1, how to set up and operate a home studio that will produce industry standard recordings, as well as how to better organize and manage your business so that you're making a lot more money. These 2 subjects in a course called the Lucrative Home Studio would be expected and predictable. And if that's all we covered, the course would be more than worth it. However, in this course, we go several steps beyond the expected and the predictable. Most home studio enthusiasts and even professionals can find themselves in what I refer to as a position where their noses are stuck to the screen. And that's the only thing many tutorials teach about operating a home studio. The little nitty-gritty details of how to do this, how to do that, how to set up this, how to set up that, what does this thing do, you get the picture. It's a teaching approach filled mostly with tips, techniques, procedures, tricks, secrets, call them what you will. We definitely will cover all of these things and more in this course, but they all avoid the 3 most important components of operating a successful home studio. You, your current level of sonic perception, and how to improve your sonic perception. What we do in this course is pull your nose off the screen and take several giant steps back to give you a bird's eye view of not only what you are doing and what this industry is all about, but where you stand in terms of your ability to objectively listen to your own mixes and masters, and how to improve your ability to objectively listen to your own mixes and masters. Now, I've been teaching and working in the music industry for more than 30 years, and I've been very fortunate in having been able to do thousands of hours of research in the field of music production, both analog and digital. Now, I consider myself even more fortunate in having done extensive research and fine-tuning of a teaching approach that attains the result lacking in many other teaching approaches. Consistently improving confidence by the student in themselves and their abilities. True confidence cannot be faked. And when confidence exists inside of you in an unshakable form, the resulting recordings created are nothing short of masterpieces, created with pure joy under heavy pressure and deadlines. Since music is an invisible subjective art form, the recording artist is extremely vulnerable to authoritative opinions. And actually, as you will soon see, extremely vulnerable to any opinions at all. Now, why is this? Well, I've discovered that music production, for the most part, is a mental sport. To be consistently successful, one must learn the truths about the art and science of music and music production, and sharpen their craft of music and music production to the point where their confidence is unshakable and unaffected, even in the face of the highest authority they may face. In order to achieve such a high level of certainty, one must, and the good news is that anyone can, develop a workable philosophy, organize tested approaches, and work hard on specific ear training exercises. So, though you may not have predicted or expected to achieve not only great information, but unshakable confidence from such a course, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Here's an example of a recording that we'll be going over in the course. And this is very interesting. This actually happened just a couple days ago. I received an email from an ad agency, someone that I knew where I was networking last year. And they asked me, they said, "Hey, Gary, is this something you could take a stab at? We need something in a few hours." And I was like, whoa. So it ended up taking 2 hours, and the editor and the director were actually there waiting while I did this recording. So here you can see in the background the actual reference they sent me. There was some problem with using this particular mix and this particular sound effect, some licensing clearance problem. So they had me redo it. And that was a challenge. I had to basically make it sound exactly the same or as close as possible. Now here you'll see the recording played through once, so let's listen to that. All right, and then here's the recording that I created in a couple hours. Let's listen to that. Now, the techniques I'm going to show you will be covered in detail, but I just want to show you some things that are actually vital. You can actually use some of this stuff right now to create really industry standard recordings. And one is, there's a whole world when it comes to A-Bing. A-Bing means to compare, using a reference track and then comparing your recording to it. Some people think it means matching, but it actually means simply, as I said, comparing. You may not want to match the reference track. You may want to have your track be a little brighter, a little duller, a little more lows, a little more highs. So you're comparing, you're not necessarily matching. In this case, I had to match. So here's one technique you'll see right here, which is you can compare the left side of the reference track with the right side of your track. Here's what I mean. Listen to this. And what I did was I just matched the levels, not only on the meter, but more importantly, with my ear. As we've talked about before, and we'll talk about many times on this course, we're going to be giving you some ear training exercises and regimens so that your ear becomes more and more finely tuned. And that is going to be the most important aspect of what you'll take away from and what will help you achieve great results in your recordings. And then finally, I just want to show you some organization approaches. Organizing is so important when it comes to operating a successful home studio or any studio. And here you can see how these tracks were organized. In each track, you'll see the title of the track itself and the patch that it was taken from, what VST, and if it was a limited number of notes in the MIDI file, it shows exactly what note, and then it actually shows the volume on the mix, how many dB up or down the mix was. You'll see these small MIDI tracks here that are all disabled. Those are what I call workshops. From each of those MIDI tracks, you can actually, and what I do is this, you can render into audio, commit, and we'll be going to that in detail. But when you do commit, you achieve a certain level of confidence in what you're doing. And then as that confidence grows, you commit even more. And so you'll see here, all these tracks have been committed, and all the MIDI tracks are muted and disabled, but they're ready to get into in case you need to change something. And I call those workshop tracks. That's your workshop. And then you're mixing the actual audio tracks. So these are just a few things I wanted to show you, and some of the things that we'll be covering in the Lucrative Home Studio.